You are listening to the special shelter at home episode of Downtime Podcast, which isn't really that special because we're just recording at home like we usually do for half of the podcast. But hey, now we're actually in like a situation where we're not allowed to leave our houses. So I'm Alyssa.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm Jordan.
And this is episode 131.
We are here. We're doing this over the phone, over Discord. Finally.
Yeah, which is pretty normal. Actually, we the past few episodes we have been recording in person just because there were situations where we were able to actually record in person and just my laptop wasn't working, but now everything's okay. So
yeah, it was just easier, but I mean, now it's even easier,
yeah,
I would say.
And now it's even easier because if I work overtime, I'm at home now. I don't even got to commute anymore.
Hey, there you go.
Nice. So, yeah, the latest update since the last podcast with all of us together. Yeah, everything changed in a matter of 1 week. We're now in a shelter-in-home regulation in California, which basically means that we're not allowed to leave our houses unless it's for essential things. Travel has been banned to quite a few places, and we have this ban until April 7th, and then from April 7th, the California government is going to assess what's going on. But everything has changed drastically since we've recorded.
So we're all inside. We can't really go outside, can't hang out with people. Social distancing is a huge thing. And we're all just trying to stay healthy, stay hydrated, and stay clean.
Mm-hmm.
It's like living in one of those dystopias you see in the movies.
Yeah.
You know what blows my mind, speaking of movies? Why is it that on Netflix, like, the number one watched movies right now are Pandemic and Outbreak, or things that sound like that? Like,
it's kind of like... go ahead.
I'm trying to watch something positive if I'm in a situation like this.
I think people are just, I don't know, it caters to what's relevant. It's like how a lot of people were playing that game Plague Inc. when coronavirus started happening.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember
my
that.
mom texted me. She was like, where can I watch the movie Contagion? I'm like okay.
Yeah, it's like, why, Mom? Why do you want to watch it?
Why?
But
yeah, it's funny. She sent us pictures of like downtown Waikiki, and during this time, it's pretty empty. It's kind of weird because it was a really nice day today, and I was just thinking the whole time, like, man, Thanos did work to us.
Oh God,
we're living in the post-snap world right now.
Yeah, it's scary.
I've been told that Hawaii is treating coronavirus and just all of their regulations. Themselves are doing it a lot better than majority of mainland United States.
I mean, they are on an island, so it's probably easier to control.
Fair. Yeah. And less population to deal with.
Yeah.
They've also barred out any of the tourists for 30 days.
Okay.
So there's like a lot less tourists. But if you land in Hawaii, you have to be quarantined for 14 days.
For sure.
But what better place to be stuck than Hawaii?
Well, you'll be inside.
I guess the no beaches.
It doesn't really
that's
matter where you
true.
are.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, you can't enjoy the beautiful sun or the beaches because everyone else is inside too. Yeah, have you guys been ordering from local places, local restaurants to go?
I've been cooking from home, ordering quite a few things from local places. Yeah, actually, I think the only place where I ordered from a chain was Taco Bell, but it was only like a one-time thing. If I eat out, I've been making it a point to do pickup from non-chains.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've just been ordering from DoorDash most of the time.
Yeah, DoorDash and Uber Eats, or actually, I don't know about DoorDash, but Uber Eats has the thing where they're like $0 free delivery fee.
I think
for,
that
local
yeah,
places.
DoorDash had that.
DoorDash
too.
waived it too. Yeah.
That makes sense. That's really nice of those companies to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I just hope that yeah, I just hope that even like just the drivers and the restaurateurs themselves are also staying healthy.
Yeah, no, I hope so too, because like you also have the delivery guys for like UPS, the mail people from the USPS who are all still like the first line of defense out there, so they're risking their lives to make sure people get their packages.
I know,
either necessities, essentials, or I don't know, your Animal Crossing Switch console or something.
Yeah.
DoorDash had this thing where it was like a no contact delivery, which I think means they just walk up to your door and just leave it there.
Yes, that's exactly what they're doing. They leave it on your doormat.
Yeah, instead of walking up to you and you having to take it from the person, because there's the whole concern of passing on stuff. But I mean, they touched the package, so I don't know if it really matters, but whatever,
Yeah, I hate it, right?
I've been disinfecting any packages, whether it's food or just couriers. I've just been wiping them off before actually picking them up. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's good. That's a good habit.
Yeah, just got to use those Lysols.
For real though. So let's touch on some lighter news instead of talking about all this stuff that's making us feel sad and bad. Why don't we talk about what we're doing while we have all this time? What are we playing? Alyssa, why don't you start us off?
So, in light of all of this coronavirus news, 2 of probably the most anticipated games of the beginning of the year came out, which is just convenient for everyone who now has to stay at home. So, it's Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm not playing Doom Eternal, but I am playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've only played 4 hours of it, but I feel like I've accomplished so much in 4 hours.
Yeah, that's good.
In 4 hours, I've paid off my mileage already. I got stung by wasps 2 times. I made medicine for the first time. One of the villagers, the hawk, Pierce, gave me a hat. And let's see. And I caught a lot of fish. I caught an olive flounder, and that was
nice.
That was probably the most memorable thing so far. My tent is full of shit right now. And I'm seeing friends who have just been playing this for 1 day, and all of a sudden they have all of these things and their outfits are already way better than the default one. And I'm like, how many hours did y'all play this? Like just seeing some of your houses make it seem like you've been playing for like the last month. But no, they've only been playing for like the last 48 hours, but still, there's so much you can achieve apparently in that time.
Or they time travel. Those dang time travelers.
So Alyssa,
you have a house, don't you? You have a house, Jeremy.
I'm almost done paying off the third version of the house.
Good God, all right.
I will talk about that experience later on, but so far it seems like you're liking Animal Crossing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I can't wait to play with people. A friend of the podcast, Kevin, he was actually telling me yesterday that you have to play by yourself for 1 day, and then when you first start, and then after that 1 day, you can finally join each other's islands. So I'm excited for that.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm just learning the ropes about Animal Crossing. I actually have a few questions about Animal Crossing, but we can talk about that. Oh, I'll just ask them now. Okay.
Sure.
All right. So, how many times a day can you give a creature to Tom for the museum? I ask this because I've been capturing a lot of butterflies and fish in the first 4 hours, and there was a point where he just stopped accepting my stuff. So I'm wondering if there's a limit based off of the day.
So there is a limit, and it's not based off of the day. There comes a point where, I don't know if you remember reading the dialogue he's telling you, but there's a friend that he has.
Oh, I built his tent. Yep, that guy. Okay. So
is it under construction or is it up?
It's under construction because I'm only 4 hours in.
Okay, so when his tent is up tomorrow, you can turn in more stuff to him, but there will reach another point where he's like, okay, stop donating me stuff. tomorrow, or sorry, 2 days from now, literally 2 days from now, he's gonna make the museum.
Okay.
So you're gonna also be capped tomorrow
Okay.
when his tent is up.
Got it.
And then you'll have to wait 2 days. So tomorrow for me is when the museum is finally up, and then I can donate all the stuff I have because outside of his tent, I showed Jordan this earlier. It's like all the stuff I'm trying to donate to the museum, and it's like stacked high.
Oh,
Like,
jeez.
there's just
cases
a bunch of
different
boxes.
fish. Yeah, it's like I was like protesting the museum. There's just a bunch of stuff outside the museum. So I'm waiting till tomorrow so I can donate all the stuff to him.
Oh my gosh. Wait.
Yeah.
Now I have a really stupid question.
Okay.
You can store things in cardboard boxes?
No, they're like like Tupperware boxes.
Oh, Tupperware boxes. Oh, okay, got
for
it.
the fish.
Oh, I see. Got it. Okay.
So they look like
I know
those
what
like,
you're talking about now. So.
Like the plastic cages
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
buy like a PetSmart or something.
Okay, got it. The
And
reason
it automatically appears.
Okay. I'm just wondering because I'm using cardboard boxes right now as jank-ass end tables, so I wasn't sure if you could actually put stuff in it. So, but it.
Oh, I see.
But
That's what you mean.
yeah, but it turns out that you're just like placing them like around his house until.
Yeah, if you just drop a fish on the ground, it'll automatically appear inside of a container.
Ah, I see. Okay, got it. I'm learning.
To comply with PETA rules.
Okay. Oh God. Okay.
No, but yeah, you actually won't have storage for your stuff until you upgrade to a house. Then
Yeah,
you'll have
it's.
storage.
I need a house. This is ridiculous. Like, how do people? How can I live in this tent? I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're like homeless right now.
God, this is ridiculous. I am all the way at the beginning. I just paid off my mileage. There's just so much I need to do apparently. And they're like,
Yeah.
God, so many people, including you, I guess, already far ahead.
Not that far, but getting there.
Yeah. And then my next question is just, what are some essential things that should be bought or crafted first? Like I have tools. I have all the tools like made, like the net and the axe, and you just like, I just remake them anytime that they break. But is there anything essential that is just like, you definitely gotta buy that?
So right now, I would say all the tools that you have are essential. Keep getting the sticks off of the trees.
Yeah.
You could shake trees to get more sticks and collect the sticks. Of course, make more flimsy tools. But as you know,
I
these
shake
tools
trees
don't
like
last very long.
I shake trees like 20 times. It's God.
Yeah, me too.
Half of the majority of the 4 hours is just me collecting weeds just to do something with my life.
Oh yeah, sell that kush.
I know.
Sell that weed.
Is that what the kids are doing these days? Shaking trees, collecting weed.
God.
It's true.
But yeah, these are the sacrifices. Hey, I dabble in a lot of sim games. I know the struggle to make a beautiful place. So
to build off of your question, you need to get more miles because, as you know, there's two currencies in the game. One's Nook Miles and the other one is bells, as the games have always been known to have bells. But Nook Miles, you need to get more Nook Miles to buy the. It's called the like very good tool kit from the Nook Miles store, and it upgrades your tools. So it makes you have more DIY cards for better tools that last longer.
okay.
Do they still have durability?
They still do have durability, which kind of annoys me because it's like, come on, Nintendo, why are you putting durability in your games?
It's from that Breath of the Wild stuff.
I was about to say
Exactly.
it is.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, dude, come on, Nintendo, don't do this to me.
To be fair, it also seems to be following a Minecraft formula.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the previous Animal Crossings, the tools were like unlimited. Like it would never break. You just have it.
I see.
I missed that. I was so used to that. So yeah, buy that. It's like 2,400 Nook Miles.
Okay.
From the Nook Miles store.
I will buy that.
Yep, and then that allows you to have the standard versions of the tools. But keep in mind though that you do need the base flimsy version to upgrade, and you also need one iron ingot, like one iron little thing that you get from the rocks to upgrade your tools fully.
Mm-hmm.
So you just need the flimsy version and the iron ingot to make it to like the regular tools. I'd call them the base tools,
For sure.
not the flimsy versions.
Got it.
Did you have another question about Animal Crossing?
No, I think that's it for now. That's all I can ask really in 4 hours. So
Yeah,
fun game so far.
Only touched. Oh yeah, absolutely. You've only touched the tip of the iceberg, but later on, I know you'll have more questions.
Yeah,
and
apparently. Yeah, apparently I'm so behind. So
I mean, you're not that far behind. There's a lot of people who don't even have the game yet because they're delayed by the mail.
Yeah, I mean, you're ahead of me because I don't even have the game.
Yeah, Jordan needs to buy a Switch too.
Yeah, I don't even have a Switch yet. They've been sold out everywhere. Even like the normal Switch is sold out everywhere.
Wait, is it sold out because of coronavirus or it's just sold out? Because I swear to God, 1 month ago, you could get a Switch Lite really easily.
I think because I think this is just me speculating. I think because people are trapped indoors, a lot more people are seeing the value in video games, and people are just buying out Switches and stuff.
Yeah.
On top of that, I don't know this for sure, but I imagine a lot of manufactured goods are made in China, which means production of electronics is slower because of that, because of the whole situation. So,
For sure.
I mean, I'm sure there's multiple factors, but yes, I went to Target the other day, and they were like, I asked them like, oh, do you have the Switch? And they were like, oh, we don't have the Animal Crossing one. And I was like, oh, do you have just a normal Switch? And he's like, oh, let me check. And he came back. He's like, nope, we're sold out.
Oh,
I was
God.
like, oh, dang.
Well, there you
So
have
bad.
it.
I mean, it might be different. This was like a couple days ago, before the whole shelter-in-place thing was set. So it might be different now. But even then, like because everyone's trapped indoors, I don't know. We'll see.
You can always go online, Jordan, through the Target website, and then just request them to hold it for you, and then they'll hold it for like a week, and then you can just go there and pick it up.
Yeah, I'll probably try that.
Yeah, or have it shipped to the Target near us, and then just go there. That works. Yeah. So just Animal Crossing for you, Lisa. I was gonna say earlier that Jordan and I have played pretty much every iteration minus the Wii version of Animal Crossing, so I think we're pretty good experts on the series as a whole.
You even did the Pocket one.
I played the Pocket one for a little bit.
For a little bit, yeah. The Pocket Camp. It was not as satisfying as the mainline game, so.
Yeah.
It was just filler for what we were waiting for. But yeah, if you have a question in the future, just, drop us a line.
Yep, we'll do. So how's your mansion?
I only have like the second iteration of the house.
Yeah.
It's not that big.
Okay.
I have a long-winded story about Animal Crossing, but Jordan, I want you to go next. What are you playing? What are you up to?
Well, definitely not Animal Crossing. But I have been playing Call of Duty Warzone, which is the Call of Duty Battle Royale free to play.
Yes.
And Borderlands 3, which came out on Steam not too long ago, like a week ago. And I've just been playing that nonstop with some of my friends.
Very nice.
And yeah, I know Borderlands 3 has been out for a while because it came out on Epic and other console platforms. But there's some DLC coming out this coming week, I think. And so I'm looking forward to that. And there's they still have a bunch of DLC planned for the game. So there's still a lot to look forward to. And it's basically, if people have asked me oh, is it worth it? Basically, if you liked Borderlands 2, you'll like this game. It's basically more of that, but with more features.
Yeah, that makes sense. The two things I know you love are Borderlands and Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then on the Call of Duty note, I typically am not a Call of Duty player. I have barely ever played any of the Call of Duty games. I don't actually own any Call of Duty games. Maybe the ones I played the most were back when they had the World War II version of Call of Duty, not World at War, way before that. Remember we used to play
I know.
Duty? Yeah, Call of Duty 2, we used to play that.
Before
Yeah.
Call of Duty went to aliens, yeah, and zombies.
Yeah. Yeah, even before it went to Modern Warfare, I played those Call of Duty games. But anyways, it's free to play, and one of my friends, he's really into Modern Warfare, the new version of Modern Warfare, and he's like, oh, let's try out this Call of Duty Warzone, and so we tried it out. It's 3 players. Well, they released solos recently, but it used to be only 3 players, like Apex Legends. And basically 3 people, you drop in, typical battle royale, you have nothing, you have to gather weapons and fight to be the last ones inside the circle. But they do have some interesting mechanics. that other games don't have. Like there's this money system where you have to collect money throughout the game, and the money allows you to buy upgrades at these little vendor stations. And so you can
Okay.
buy back your teammates if they die, kind of like with Apex. Except in Apex, I think it's just you grab your teammates' stuff or their banner or whatever, and then you get them back for free. But in Call of Duty, you have to collect money and you have to purchase them back. But then there's another mechanic where when you die, you get sent to this gulag, so like this prison, and you have to 1v1 someone to death. Like let's say you died, and then another guy died, another guy on another team died. When you die, you both go into this 1v1 arena, and you fight each other, and whoever wins gets to respawn. And so it's kind of pretty cool. It's like a second chance, as long as you win that 1v1. And the 1v1s, it's like it gives you a random weapon, so sometimes it's a pistol. It's usually either a pistol or a shotgun. And so you just gotta like rush in, hopefully kill the other guy. None of you has armor, so it's like a quick and easy kill. And then you get to respawn. So like it's kind of scary in the beginning because you might wipe an entire team, but then they could all potentially respawn and just drop back on top of you and grab some weapons and take you out. So you have to like be really careful in the game. So it adds an extra element of fun. It does have 150 players per session, so that's a lot more than most battle royales. Even like Fortnite only has 100. And things like Apex only have like 60, I think. And so because there's a lot more players, it's a lot easier to run into other people, which can be a pro and a con. I say a pro because, you know, it's more fun, more combat, more stuff going on. You don't really have those moments where there's like nothing happening. But the con is it's really hard to win because there's so many people and you're just always running into people. Like you'll see a team, you'll start shooting at them, and then realize there's somebody right behind you and they shoot you in the back. And so
how many people are playing per game?
150.
150.
So and three player teams, 150. I don't know if I've never played solos, so I don't know if the number is different in solos. But again, you have 150 people, and everybody gets a second chance when they die, so they could potentially come back if they die. So it's like
I see.
It's just constantly combat left and right, and there's also these things called bounties, which are like quests, I guess you could say, where you like pick up an item and it'll give you an objective, a secondary objective. So for example, one that me and my friends like to get is like this loot box one, where it's like it gives you the location of like high value loot, and you just seek it out, and it's like super easy. But then there's another one that's called recon, which is you scan a location and it gives you the next location of the circle, so it tells you where the circle is going to close in on, so you know where to go. And then the last one is like a target bounty, which is like basically it gives you a player to hunt down, and you have to hunt for them, and it shows you their general location, so that way you always know where like that team is. And so that one's kind of scary, especially if you're being hunted. It'll tell you you're being hunted, and it'll tell you how close they are to you. So it's like, yeah, it adds a lot of extra elements to the combat. But there's like some quality of life stuff, like in games like PUBG or Apex, you have to like manage attachments to your weapons. But in this game, like attachments are already preset on weapons, so you don't have to manage any kind of inventory space.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's like you have a slot for this weapon, a slot for that weapon, a slot for grenades, so you don't actually have to manage like, oh, I need to rummage around and make sure I have enough inventory space for each thing. Like everything has its own slot, everything has a max amount, so you just you don't have to worry about that stuff.
In
But
that
yeah,
aspect, it seems a lot more stress-free, too. You don't have to worry about weapons or anything like that.
Yeah, it's fast and easy. I would say the only thing I'm not that big of a fan of is the time to kill is really fast in Call of Duty. I mean, that's just how it is in Call of Duty in general. They do mitigate that a little bit. There's this armor plate system. I don't think mainline Call of Duty has this, but you have like these armor plates that you put into that you have to slot into your armor, and that gives you like extra defense. But otherwise, even with that, like the time to kill is still really fast compared to other games like Apex. The time to kill is slow enough that if you're getting shot at, you can easily come back and recover from it. Whereas in this game, if someone spots you and they get the drop on you, you're basically dead unless you can shoot them first. So it's really fast, really quick. But again, some people like that. There is a sliding mechanic like in Apex, and in Borderlands there's a sliding mechanic too. But like it's not always that effective because you don't slide that far or that fast compared to other games. So like if you try to slide into an enemy, most of the time you're gonna get shot in the face. So you gotta be careful.
Wow, that's crazy. It seems like games go by quicker with the inventory system like that as well.
Yeah, the games are pretty fast, I would say. If you're not quick enough in the beginning to grab a gun or like grab a good gun, then you could die pretty early on. But again, because you can respawn, the games can last a while because you can just keep respawning. But I don't know. I have fun with it.
Cool. That's awesome.
Very nice.
And Borderlands 3 is pretty good so far overall.
Haven't beat the story yet. I'm kind of taking it slow. Me and two of my friends have just been playing on and off. I have two characters. I have one where I just play solo, and then I have one where I just play with where I only play with my friends. They're very different experiences, I would say, because when you're playing solo, you have to like really be careful about, when you get hit or prioritizing targets. I would say if you're playing with a group of 4 people, it's kind of chaotic because there's just particle effects and explosions and things everywhere, and it's a very different experience playing co-op versus playing a solo. I would say the ideal amount of people to play with is just one other person if you play in a team or like a team of 2, because it's like there's not as much chaos going on. You both get a fair share of the loot and kills. There's 2 game modes you can play. One is called cooperation, and cooperation is everyone gets their own loot. It's instanced. Like if anyone's ever played like something like Destiny, everyone sees their own loot. You don't see the same thing. So if a legendary drops for one person, it could potentially drop for somebody else too. And then enemies are scaled. So if I could go to the end of the game and play my level 30 character, and if my friend joins with a level 1 character, all of the enemies will be scaled to level 1. So technically you could play with anyone at any time, which is a really nice touch. But then there's another version called co-opetition, and co-opetition is the opposite of that. Enemies are not scaled, so if I join level 30, or if I'm in a level 30 area and my friend who's level 5 joins, everything will be level 30 and he'll just die instantly. But I can help him power level, because if I kill things, it'll give a ton of XP to him. But on top of that, loot is not shared, which is classic Borderlands. So if a legendary drops, only one person can grab it. And so we've had some fun moments where everybody rushes for that one legendary, and then whoever gets it, people can challenge them to a duel, and you can duel each other to get the legendary. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, so there's some fun competitiveness to it too, but there's some characters that fare well in duels better than others, so it really depends. But yeah, we've been having some fun. We've mostly been doing the cooperation mode now, just because we're trying to breeze through the story. And the problem with co-opetition is, if you want the good loot, you have to be close to the boss because the loot drops out of the boss when it dies. So you have to be close to get the loot. So it's very much discouraged snipers, which I like playing as a sniper. And so if you're a sniper and you snipe the boss and the loot comes out, everybody who's close there can just grab it. And so we've done the cooperation version just so that everybody gets a fair shot at loot. But we said that when we reach endgame, we're just gonna do the co-opetition version. We're all just gonna compete for the loot just to have some fun out of it. So I don't know, we'll see.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, you're getting there. Sounds like you're enjoying the whole game, and hopefully you can find out more stuff to tell us later on.
Yeah, I haven't even beaten the game
eggs.
yet. Yeah, and the DLC's coming out soon too.
How many DLC packs are coming?
I don't know off the top of my head. I think like 4 or 5. There's one that's already out. It's like a casino. It's based around a casino. The second one, I don't remember what that one's about. But the third one, I believe it says something about outlaws and dinosaurs, and I was really interested in that one.
That's pretty cool.
What?
Yeah,
that sounds
Outlaws
awesome.
and dinosaurs. What a combination!
Outlaws and dinosaurs. That's what it's called. Or that's the hint. They didn't name it. There's no name for it yet. But there is this is minor spoilers. But there is a planet. There's compared to Borderlands 2, there's so much more content in this game. And like a lot of the weapons are very different. So in like Borderlands, the very first Borderlands, all the guns were kind of samey. It was like, oh, here's your automatic guns, here's your revolvers, here's your like snipers, etc. Everything was kind of the same, slightly different. They were all like guns were just guns basically. And then in Borderlands 2, they added a little bit more gimmicks to it. Like there were guns that like, oh, as you fire, it gets more accurate. Or there was like different guns with like in pre-sequel you had like laser guns they had like a channeling ability. But whereas in Borderlands 3 they like really changed it up a lot. Like there's like every manufacturer makes really different types of guns. Like for example, there's your standard guns like Jacobs, they make like Old West guns. So you have your Winchester repeating rifles and your revolvers and your sniper rifles and double barrel shotguns, etc. And you have Vladov, which is like they make automatic weapons only, but they added all these underbarrel attachments. You can have an underbarrel shotgun or underbarrel grenade launcher, or you could switch fire modes to like a bipod so you can shoot more accurately, but you move slower. Then they have like Maliwan, which has only charge weapons. You have to charge it up, but they also have like these laser beam weapons. And then you have Atlas, who has these tracker weapons. So you fire a tracking dart, and then any rounds you fire will automatically home in on the target. And then they have Tedior, which when you throw the weapon, when you're reloading, you instead of reloading the gun, you throw the weapon and it explodes, or it turns into like a drone, or it turns into a turret, or like it does all these cool stuff. So they've added a lot more variety to the weapons and stuff like that in Borderlands 3. And the areas are a lot bigger. There's more vehicles. There's more enemy types. There's more missions. Awesome. There's more story. Because minor spoilers for Borderlands 2, but at the end you find out, because the Borderlands theory is all about opening these vaults that have like loot and stuff in them. And in the first and second game, the vaults are only on this one planet, Pandora. But then at the end of the second game, again, spoiler alert, but you find out there's planets all over the galaxy that have vaults on them. So in Borderlands 3, you travel to different planets, and they look very, very different from standard Borderlands areas. So that's what's really cool. And there's one planet, which is my favorite, which has dinosaurs on it. So it's really cool.
What? There's what?
Yeah, there's this planet with dinosaurs.
Awesome.
It's weird because it's like so again, there's like these different manufacturers, and they each have their own. There's like the lore is there's these huge corporations that make weapons that pretty much own the galaxy or different parts of the galaxy. And so when you go to the Atlas planet, it's all futuristic because that's Atlas's style. But then when you go to the Jacobs planet, which they're the Old West, it's kind of like this Old West combined with like a jungle. So it's like sort of like a Southern Bayou kind of look, but you have like all these Western guns, and then there's also like dinosaurs roaming around. So it's pretty cool.
Dinosaurs in the Old West.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, and I assume that's where the DLC, because it's called Outlaws and Dinosaurs. You know, Outlaws Old West and the dinosaur part. So like it seems like that it's gonna take place on that planet. But I'm excited for that DLC.
Nice.
That's
that
pretty
sounds
cool.
Awesome. I'm down. I'm about it. On my end, I'm taking a little break from Dead by Daylight because Animal Crossing came out and I've been on that. So the day I got it, started playing it, there is a Nook Miles. Oh, I'll just, for the sake of clarity, I'll call these achievements. So like, there's a Nook Miles achievement for catching 10 fish in a row. And you have to, you can't let them get away. You can't mess up.
So without fail, you have to catch them all.
Yes, without fail. And I did it, and I was like, awesome. And there's 3 segments, and the next segment said, catch 50 in a row without fail.
50 in a row? I can't even.
But the 10 that you just caught are included, so technically it's just 40.
But still,
so I know. So
that's crazy.
I started doing it, and I was like, I haven't messed up until this point. Let me just try it. So I got up to 37, and then I fucked up. And then I was like,
damn.
No, are you serious?
So it resets all of your progress?
So I was freaking out. I was like, no, please. And I caught another fish, and I went back to the tracker. It still said 37. And I was like, damn it. So yes, it does reset. And I was like 15 fish in, and then I messed up again. And I was like, I got so mad. I was like, what's wrong? And then 2 fish into that, I messed up again. And I was like, I need to go to bed. I can't do this right now.
You're tilted.
Exactly.
Tilted in Animal Crossing.
I know, right? So earlier today, I caught my 50th fish. And I was like, I wasn't even keeping track of it. I was like, that's awesome. So the third rank in that hierarchy is now 100. And I was like, I had to catch 50 more to get this. But I think at the end you get 1,000 Nook Miles. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
That's quite a lot of Nook Miles.
Is that how much is that in comparison? Like what's the average like achievement give in Nook
Like
Miles?
300?
Okay,
some of them
pretty good then.
Your dailies give you 100 to 200 per task. And then, to Elisa's point, like the ones that are below like your dailies are all like 300 plus, depending on what you do and what the nature of the task is. And as you scale up, you get more Nook Miles for each one.
Yeah, that's pretty good then.
Yeah, I've bought all the essentials from the Nook Mile shop, and now I'm at like 11,000 Nook Miles. So I'm trying to figure out what I need to buy next. But hopefully I'm just gonna save all of it until later. And yeah, Alyssa, you were talking about how some people are just buying, houses and they're upgrading all their stuff. Well, the downside to me spending all my money on the house is I don't have any furniture in my house to furnish it.
You're gonna
It's
get
all
that
still,
furniture
like,
in
the
10
base stuff.
hours.
Well, I mean, the shop is limited, but right now you can have the option to build a store. So the two little kids, Tommy and Timmy, are like, can you help us gather materials to buy the store? So I have most of it done. I just need to give them the iron ore so that they can build, like, I guess the roof or something, the flooring, the frame of the house. So I need to give them 8 more iron ore, and then 2 days from now the shop will be done. So I need to do it tomorrow. Yeah, there's a lot of waiting. There's a lot of patience in Animal Crossing. For those that don't know, it's a very slow game. But Jordan's point earlier, he mentioned time travel, which is a big mechanic in the game. I would not say it's part of the game, but it is something that you can adjust and kind of cheat the game to have things grow faster, or to cause some events to happen sooner than you expected. The downside to time traveling in the past was that you would have more weeds in your town. I don't think that's an issue now, since weeds kind of play a different mechanic. But in the past, the weeds were kind of a nuisance. And your neighbors would leave without kind of notice, because before they would leave, they would tell you, oh, I'm thinking about leaving. Should I stay or should I go? And then you could just be like, yeah, I want you to stay. And they're like, cool. But if you time travel, they would be, in past games at least, they would just say, they would send you a letter like, hey, I left. Sorry. Even if it was like your favorite villager, they'd just be like, nah, gotta go, because you time traveled too much. But they wouldn't tell you that you time traveled too much. They'd just be like, I left. See ya. So that was the downside.
Yeah, basically how the mechanic works is, it's real time, right? Like, it's based on your actual time zone and everything.
Yes.
So it's based on your system's like clock, like your whatever time your switch is adjusted to. So you can manipulate the time. You can change your settings in your switch to make it so, like, oh, it's now Saturday, or it's now 2 weeks later. And then that will basically change how much time has passed in your actual Animal Crossing game. But yeah, like as Jeremy mentioned, like it's an exploit. Obviously something that's kind of hard to fix, like to plan against if you're making the game real time. But I don't know. We'll see if there's any consequences to that. I don't know. It might be too early on to tell, but maybe there is.
I, for one, am not going to time travel, because I just want to take the game as it is and live it real time.
Okay.
But there are other people who will exploit time, and that's totally fine. You do you. You bought the game for your own pleasure. I don't really mind that you do that. But for me, I want to just enjoy it. When it's winter, it's going to be winter in my game, and I'm going to play it all the same.
Yeah, and there's some valid, like, again, anyone can play any style that they want, but sometimes, like, when you get really busy and you don't have time to play someday, you might even go back into the past to change your clock to that previous day, just so you can experience whatever it was that was going on that day. Or if there's, like, something that only happens on Saturdays, or something that only happens on, like, a certain holiday and you didn't play that day, sometimes you can just adjust it. And otherwise, what are you going to do? Wait a year? Like, it's, there's reasons to do it, like, sparingly. I would not be one. Yeah, I would not be one to time travel, just because I like to experience the game as is. But, like, if there was something really important that I missed one day, like, I wouldn't mind resetting my clock to go backwards. I don't know if I would go forwards, because I feel like that messes up too much stuff. But I wouldn't mind going backwards, just to get something that I couldn't get on a specific day.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason I would do that too, if any. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing because of this. Well, first of all, I do all the daily tasks that I need to do. I catch a bunch of fish. That's also, like, the thing, if you want to make a lot of money in this version of Animal Crossing, or pretty much any version, is you always have to be active doing something. You always should be collecting something, fishing for something, chopping wood, getting wood from trees, or catching bugs. In my case, I would focus on fishing. I'd say like 60% fishing and 40% catching bugs, and those two things combined would net me a lot of bells.
Yeah,
and that's how I paid off my house really fast, was just catching a lot of fish. I've caught so many fish. And a pro tip for you, Elisa, when you see the little water come out of the sand on the beach, dig it up.
Oh.
And it's like a little mollusk, and then you can make it into fish bait and use that fish bait in a pond or on the shore or on a rock jutting out, and it'll make fish come to you, and then you can just fish for that.
I didn't know that was a possibility.
I found that out pretty easily. I think I just dug it up because I was like, "What's this in the sand?" So after I finish all my stuff in Animal Crossing, I move on to another game, but I was kind of inspired to look back at the very first Animal Crossing that I ever played, which was on the GameCube. So I took a look at it recently. I plugged it back in. I popped the disc in, and of course the game hasn't aged well. The graphics aren't that great, but I wanted to just look at my town and see all my residents and talk to them. And
oh no, what did they say?
So I talked. So all of them are still there.
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy. And I talked to some of my favorite residents, and then I was like, "Oh hey, how's it going?" They're like, "Oh hey, you're new here, huh? Oh wait, no, what was your name? Oh, you're this person. It's been 135 months since I last saw you." I was like, "Oh my god!"
You don't remember my name, but you remember that?
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, dude, it's been so long." And so 135 months is roughly 8 years. So it's been 8 years since I popped that game back in.
Wow, that's kind of creepy that they know that.
Yeah, I was looking for someone to tell me how long it's been.
Yeah, they've been keeping tabs apparently.
I've been indoors, away from the coronavirus for 8 years before it all happened. But yeah, that was kind of a trip to just go back and look at it, and it's kind of fun. And then I turned it off, put it away, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go play the current one now."
Check back in another 8 years.
Exactly. So yeah, aside from Animal Crossing, I finished Yakuza 3. And I'm almost done with Yakuza 4, and that's pretty much the game that I've been interchanging with Animal Crossing, is Yakuza 4. I'm not going to say anything about the game other than some things that I realize now, because I've played 2 Yakuza games back to back. In this game in particular, I know we've talked about this, Lisa, but there's a lot of cutscenes where they go from like beautiful cutscene animation to just their dialogue. And like you have to press X the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's just like their mouth moving and the sound of the text scrolling.
And then
by.
it's like, oh.
That happened. Like, yeah, exactly. That particular thing happened at least twice for me in Yakuza 4. And I'm like, they went from a cutscene to like the scrolling text back to the cutscene. I'm like, did you really need to do that? Couldn't you have just recorded that whole scene? Like, I don't understand.
Maybe something late in the script changed?
That's what I'm thinking too, is like maybe there was a rewrite and they couldn't they wanted to take it out, so they did, and they just changed it to something else. But it was just really weird and jarring to see that. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, because when I used to play Final Fantasy 14, the online one, they would have that too, where they're like these fully voiced cutscenes, and you're like, oh wow, this is really cool. Like you actually get to hear the characters' voices. Then it'll cut to like just the text scrolling and people just standing there awkwardly, and then it'll there'll be voices again. You're just like, what? Well, did they just not record that part? But again, maybe just something got cut out or edited. I don't know.
That makes sense. Still, it's just weird. It's
yeah,
weird to
it's
me.
It's still jarring. It's very jarring.
Yeah. Yeah, and this game definitely utilizes the same engine from 3.0 Kiwami, so you get all the same I don't know, the same style of game, so that's not something I'm complaining about. And of course all the sound effects, the voices are all the same, so there's one in particular that all the Yakuza grunts on the street have, and it's like, ah! It's always that one particular sound, and every single person has that, and every time I run across them, it just annoys me now, because it's all I hear. Yeah, I've memorized almost all the sound effects that the general population makes.
Oh god.
Yeah, or nani, stuff like that. It's
like in Speed Racer where all the thugs have the same voice actor.
Yeah. Hey, let's go beat up Speed. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I
you
sound like
just
this. I'm a
me.
thug. Yeah.
And you sound just like me. Yeah. It's like, oh wow.
All right. We're going to go into some news. So before we talk about the big news, we'll talk about some quick GameStop updates because it's pretty funny. But sad but funny. Sad for everyone who works for GameStop. So, as you all know, in the United States, there's been more regulations regarding coronavirus, COVID-19, and across the board with every state there's pretty much a rule that says you can't be open unless you're essential business. And the list of essential business like falls in line but with like, obviously like cops, like firefighters, emergency people who own restaurants but you can only do takeout, let's see, pharmacies, banks, you name it. And so GameStop sent an email to its employees telling them that they don't need to shut down because they're essential business, because their products enable, and this is a quote from the email, their products enable and enhance its customers' experience working from home. And
okay.
And then not even a day later, like 1 day later after that, GameStop officially announces it's closing all of their physical stores and only selling things online because of coronavirus.
Temporarily closing. They're not closing for good. Just want to point that out there.
I will say, if GameStop needed a scapegoat or needed to close out some stores, this is a great way to do it.
Yeah.
To mask it with, oh, we're closed down because of coronavirus, and then when eventually in 2-3 months when this all if this all blows over, then GameStop comes. We're coming back, but we're not going to open as many stores as we had before.
Yeah, because we all know they've been losing money and they're not doing very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they recently hired Reggie, so I don't know what that'll change.
Yeah, what's up with that? What's up with that?
Like who like they hired a bunch of people to be on like their board of directors to like, or somewhere in their executive board to like help manage the company better. So I don't know whose decision it was to keep the stores open during this whole, virus crisis. But I kind of get it because more people are probably going to go buy video games right now at this time. So they have the potential to make more money, but at the same time they're putting everyone at risk. So I don't know.
Yes.
And how did they get the money to pay Reggie? Like, of all people, Reggie.
Because didn't he retire? So how much did they have to pay him to get him out of retirement?
Well, all their people are laid off now, so now they can pay him.
I don't know.
Imagine, like, they were talking to Reggie, and I just imagine this in Reggie's voice. They're like, Reggie, we'd like you to help, build our stores back up. And Reggie's like, you know what? That sounds like a great idea. I'm going to help you build all your stores back.
I'm in.
You know what? Take all my money. Yeah, let's go, Reggie.
Yeah, maybe he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart. I don't know.
Maybe. Or what? He's doing it to establish themselves online. So.
Oh, like turn it into like an online store mostly?
Or like it's already an online store, but like use strategy to officially shift it over completely to non-physical store.
Maybe, yeah, because physical is kind of going out the window for a lot of people.
Yeah. So
yeah, maybe he'll bring his insight from like working on like the Wii eShop or like the Nintendo store online distribution, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Like who knows? But yeah, I mean, dang, it's I honestly I think they were holding out for Doom and Animal Crossing because that was gonna make some money back for them, and then after that they were like, you know what, we're closing now. Sorry about that, guys. We were closing. Just wanted to get these last sales in, and everyone's like, come on, man.
Yeah, because we all know they need the money, so.
Yeah.
They're really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
They really are.
But yeah, no, that's crazy. I read that too, and I was like, oh, I know why you guys are up, but still, it looked bad PR wise.
Definitely a bad look. So they had to digress.
Yeah, well, there's that.
And with that, we are moving on to the last thing we're about to talk about, which is the tech specs PS5 versus Xbox Series X. And this week, we both had Microsoft and Sony release their specs for their consoles. We don't know price yet or any of those details. This was a very technical conversation. And I know that like, for example, when Sony was doing their stream of PlayStation 5, I heard that in the group chat for the stream, a lot of people were like, this is boring and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but to Sony's credit, I think it was meant to be a game developer conversation that was about the specs to begin with. I just think that in this whole situation where we're all working from home right now, like, everyone was just like, oh, does that mean we're gonna get the announcement of when it's coming out? And then everyone just got excited, but really it was just a developer conversation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I do have the specs for both systems in front of me right now. I won't bore anyone with the details, but some things to note. The Xbox Series X has about 1 terabytes of SSD storage, while the PS5 only has 825 gigabytes. Not sure why there's a difference there, but that's something to note. They both support 8K and 4K, and they both have pretty much almost similar specs, except for the Xbox Series X has like 2 more teraflops than the PS5, and I don't really know if people care that much,
Yeah.
to be honest.
So, after reading through the specs and trying to figure out what a teraflop is, by the way, a teraflop is a floating point operation, which means it's a measure of a machine's a processor's ability to do math. So, a teraflop means 1 trillion floating points of operations.
Wow.
I know. Breaking this all down and breaking down the specs, I have the simplified version of what all of these tech specs mean of PlayStation 5 versus Xbox Series X. So, number 1, Xbox has a higher processing power and they will have more storage, but PlayStation, with its storage, it's built into their ecosystem. So where Xbox kind of has like, we have a lot of powerful things and we're just like inserting like the best possible thing in here, PlayStation's is more like, although we don't have 12 teraflops and although we only have 825 gigabytes of storage, which, by the way, 825 gigabytes is the most random number on the planet. It's
why?
Like, why is that a number?
That?
Why is that a number? But what PlayStation is saying, that it's all working with each other to be part of their environment. And then, in terms of backwards compatibility, both of them will do backwards compatibility, but it seems like as of right now, the Series X will have a lot more games available pretty much for like a lot of their consoles, whereas PlayStation 5 is looking into backwards compatibility only of the top 100 games of PlayStation 4. And then the last thing is that throughput for Sony is better, which means that games will load faster in theory, and loading times are going to be much more instant. And so I was reading this on quite a few things like Kotaku and Tom's Guide, but basically what that means for Sony is, like, you're walking to a next location, and say, like, you're 10 feet away from getting to the point where you would be walking into a new city. So at, like, 10 feet away, it's already in the background going to start loading the next city. So you will just walk in, and there's going to be barely any waiting time.
Okay.
So that's what Sony's claim is. So that's basically the summary of these two consoles. Xbox will have more power. Sony will have an ecosystem that will mean games are loading a lot faster, and backwards compatibility looks better for the Xbox so far versus the PlayStation. Is the summary of all of this.
Thank you, Alyssa. That's actually really insightful.
Because
I don't think a lot of people understood that.
Because when I read it, I was like, what is going on right now? Like, I am not a computer engineer and I don't understand what all of this means. And then I had to read all of this to break it down. But yes, that is what this all means.
Awesome. No, that helps because it gives me a better picture of, what it means for these two consoles for a lot of people.
Yes.
I'm definitely gonna get the PS5. I've never owned an Xbox. Jordan and I didn't grow up with the Xbox, so PS5 is definitely on my radar. About backwards compatibility though, the best-selling 100 games is what you mentioned is what they're trying to see if they can port.
Yeah, as of right now, as of that GDC conversation.
I'm looking at my library right now, and I'm like, which ones are they?
I was thinking the same.
Uncharted.
I was thinking the same exact thing when they said top 100 games. My first thought was, but are my favorite games in the top 100?
Yeah, because I know the Yakuza series is definitely not in the top 100.
I would argue that Yakuza 0 is like 90 in the 90s. Zero though.
Okay.
Zero. It has to be 0.
I see.
Yeah.
That sucks because the rest of them are on the PS4.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because when I heard PS5 is going to be backwards compatible with the PS4, I was like, okay, perfect. I can keep all my games and all that jazz. But yeah, it kind of bothers me that they only want to do the top 100. And I think that in the future they're probably going to cut off all backwards compatibility anyways, like they've done with, this current generation. So you really have to think about, like, do you want to keep investing in the PS4 or do you want to stop now and move on to the PS5 when it comes out? Because things are definitely going to change, and everyone, if you have learned from this generation, you'll know that buying the PS5 now will let you play the games that you currently have, but buying it in the future will render those games like impossible to play on the newest version of the PS5 whenever that comes out. Like, how many iterations from now it comes out?
I know. I mean, for me personally, I'm gonna do the thing that I always do, and I wait 2 years to buy the next console. Finish all my stuff on PlayStation 4 and then call it a day.
Pat it on the top.
Pat it on top.
Good, thank you.
Just like, you did good, PlayStation. You did good. And then move on to the next.
That reminds me of, really quick, this is kind of tangential but also relevant. This reminds me of like a note someone posted on their Animal Crossing New Leaf 3DS like game on the bulletin board, because in Animal Crossing there's bulletin boards and you can post like announcements to your villagers. And in New Leaf someone posted, hi everyone, I am leaving for our deserted island now. Isabel's the mayor. Good luck with COVID-19. And I'll see you later. that was the last message they posted before they left.
Nice.
For New Horizons. I was like, that's so messed up, but also pretty perfect.
Yeah, and they loot, and Tom Nook moves, and the Blathers, the museum guy moves. So everyone just leaves the town and leaves all the villagers there.
When art imitates life, not the other way around.
Everyone moves to a deserted island. All the essentials move to the deserted island.
Yeah, they just have the coffee shop, and like the downtown area that has like the hairdresser and the guy that sells shoes, because those people are irrelevant now because everything's kind of all in one place. You don't need to get a haircut in Animal Crossing. You don't need to change your shoes because you just buy it from one place. But I don't know, maybe those shops will come out in the future. I have no idea, but there's a lot of people that are stuck behind. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh man. But yeah, sounds like you're gonna get a PS5, Alyssa.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna get one.
Yeah. I'm gonna get a PS5 just cause I'm gonna get a PS5, but in the 2 years, if like someone, like for example, if PS5 comes out and it's completely broken, then we'll see what happens. So
that's why, honestly, like when any new tech comes out, I try to wait a year because I want everyone else to like test it, and like, you're basically a guinea pig when the first version of the model comes out. And when you get that system at the end of its, I guess lifespan, you get the most updated version of it with like different parts. I mean, look at the Nintendo Switch. I have the very first model, but there have been like one or two upgrades to the Switch now. One's the Lite, the other one is like, it has like a better processor or graphics card inside of it than the first model. So it's just like, yeah, some people could wait and get, see what they get. Or you could just be one of those first guinea pig testers and buy it there.
I know.
Yeah, and as with any technology, there's the potential for like bugs and stuff. So like the first iterations of a lot of consoles have had bugs. Like the Xbox 360 had like the red ring of death, and I know the Switch. I think this is still an issue, but the Switch has like a Joy-Con drift. So like and again, this is not just with consoles. Like even with like phones, like you had those Samsung phones that were exploding. Like
jeez, I know.
Yeah, so you always have to be careful with the first iteration of a technology. I'm the type of person that's willing to wait until like a better version comes out. But again, if you want to be one of those early adopters who jumps on real quick, like more power to you.
Yeah, agreed. Are you going to get one of the consoles, Jordan, the PS5 or Xbox?
I don't know. I'm not really a console guy anymore. The last console I've owned was the 2DS, but that was a gift. So the last console I purchased was probably the original DS. So I don't know. Like I probably not, unless there's some games, because I think it all comes down to the games, because you're talking about like the difference in memory and processing power between the Xbox and the PlayStation, and each one has kind of its pros and cons. I think it'll all boil down to the games, like what games are available, because there's obviously going to be exclusives and things like that. So if there's some games that I really want to play, but they're only available for one of those consoles, maybe I'll buy it. But otherwise, I think I'm sticking to PC for now. I'll probably buy a Switch. That's it. That's about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah. So the Switch Lite also has the Joy-Con drift issue, because they're just the Joy-Cons like permanently inside.
Yeah,
of
but then you can't
Switch.
Replace the Joy-Cons. That's the thing.
Yeah, you have to manually open up, void the warranty, and clean it, which is so stupid. Or send it to Nintendo, and you won't get it for like a month or whatever. So that begs the question: which one are you gonna get? Are you gonna get the Lite? Are you gonna get the regular?
I'll probably just get the regular, because then you can interchange the Joy-Cons and things like that, and I'm fine with that.
Are you gonna get the Animal Crossing version?
I don't know.
It's beautiful. I say it like every episode, but it's beautiful.
It's sold out everywhere though. It's definitely sold out everywhere, and it'll probably be easier for me to just find a normal Switch. So I don't know. Like I like the look of the Animal Crossing one, but to me it's not that important. It's not so important that I would only hold out just for that version. So like I'm fine with just getting the normal one, or the one with the red and blue Joy-Cons, because again you can swap out the Joy-Cons, so I'm fine with whatever. Like one of my friends, she only wanted the Animal Crossing one because she liked the way that the color of the Joy-Cons. She didn't really care that much about the back of the console or whatever.
True, yeah.
So she's like, but there's like kits you could buy online where you can customize your Switch. Like you could put like a casing, like they make like a custom plastic casing you can order, and you can replace it. Yeah, so she's buying one of those that looks similar to the Animal Crossing Joy-Cons. So maybe I would just buy a normal Switch and do something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And plus, you could share, your Joy-Cons with other people, like play Mario Kart, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Like in the commercials where they play on like rooftops.
Yeah, when you go to a party and you just bring your Switch and then everyone just plays on the Switch.
I mean, to be fair, that does happen. Yeah, that does happen. They weren't exaggerating. A little bit exaggeration. Yeah, but they were truthful. There's some truth behind it. Okay, yeah, that's awesome. I do hope you find one soon, because I know that there's a lot of like to your point earlier, it's really hard to find, and I think everyone's buying it for Ring Fit Adventure, and even so, that game's hard to find too. Alyssa, I remember you said your reasoning for buying the Lite version was because you like to take it with you when you go to work, and it's a lot smaller.
Yes.
So it's easier to pack.
Yes. And playing Octopath Traveler, it's proved me correct. I can take it and put it in it fits in every purse or backpack that I have.
Did you buy the cartridge or did you download it?
I downloaded it.
And Jordan, are you going to go the same route, or are you going to go cartridge?
Again,
Video
I
games?
prefer to buy the physical version because I think it'd be cool to have the case and everything. But again, it's not so important that I would forego getting the game entirely just to wait to find the physical version. So I'm fine with downloading it if I would I'll probably buy this normal Switch, and then do a check to see if they also sell the physical version. If they don't, then I'll just download it. It's as simple as that for me.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Also, don't forget to buy a big giant micro SD card.
Yeah, I actually have how much space do you recommend for for a Switch?
Well, it depends on how many games you plan to put on there. Right now, I have 200 gigs in my Switch, and I'm perfectly fine with it. I do have a 400 gig micro SD card as a backup, just in case. I don't know what to do with it. It's literally sitting in one of my cases, just not doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But 200 gigs seems good enough for me.
Okay, yeah, because I have a 200 gig SD card. I don't remember where I got it from, but I have one. So
that's fine. That's
yeah.
perfect. That's honestly perfect. Sweet. Yeah. Switch is awesome. By the way, the page I was looking at that has the tech specs also lists the Nintendo Switch next to every other PlayStation 4 iteration and Xbox One X iteration. I'm like, the Switch is over on the far right side. It's just chilling. It has the lowest specs out of everything.
But yet,
it's
still
basically in its
best
own
life.
class.
Yeah, because
Still
you don't
living
buy it
its
for the
best life.
specs. Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't buy it for the specs.
It's
You
chilling.
buy it-
Yeah.
It's chilling right now.
It's true. The Switch is awesome because you can put you can play NBA 2K on it, and you can play NBA 2K on all the other consoles. You can play Skyrim. You can play the Jackbox party games. I think the Switch is definitely a great party game.
Oh yeah,
console.
definitely.
So yeah, I mean, I do want to get the Jackbox party games on my Switch eventually, but right now, I think the Switch is a good console overall for multiplayer games. Just waiting for that GameCube emulator. It's gonna come. I swear, it's coming.
Gotta play that Mario Kart Double Dash.
Oh, imagine that on the Switch. Oh, that's so cool. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
But anyways, did we leave anything out? Is there anything else you guys want to chat about?
I'm good. That's all I wanted to talk about.
Nothing off the top of my head.
And
Awesome.
Yeah, I guess we'll end this podcast just so that we can all log in to Animal Crossing at night and do our stuff. So
I need to make money. I need to go fishing.
All
right, y'all. This episode is what, number 131?
131. If you liked it, follow us wherever we have the podcast, which Apple Podcast, Podbean, Stitcher, YouTube, anywhere. Most likely we're on we're on every single platform except for Spotify. And if you have a comment, post it for whatever you need, and we will answer your question or talk about your comment. You can also send us a message, an email, contact@Downtime.Live, or join the Discord, which is in the description of this episode, or go to Downtime.Live for the Discord. And if you like this episode and you like this podcast, please write us a review on Apple Podcasts.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa.
Yes.
Yeah. If you want to join our Discord, as she said, it's in the description of everywhere that this podcast is posted. We talk about everything in the Discord, from anime to Terrace House to Stardew Valley to the Yakuza series to music. So come and chat with us. We love talking about random stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it, everyone. Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
See ya.